Hello and welcome to Business 360. I'm Shireen Bhan. The headlines that we're tracking for you this evening: wild swings on Dalal-Street. The sensex and the nifty end a volatile session with minor cuts, even as mid-caps outperform. After a sharp fall in early trade, Adani Group shares recover but still close in the red. Finance Ministry says it has nothing to add to what the SEBI chairperson has said in response to Hindenburg's charges. SEBI says the chairperson recused herself in matters involving potential conflicts of interest but doesn't specify which matters. Mutual funds and venture capital associations back the SEBI chief. Opposition parties demand a joint parliamentary committee probe and urge the SEBI chief to step down till the probe is complete. BJP slams the Hindenburg report and the opposition Law Minister Meghwal calls it an attempt to stall India's development. Bharti Enterprises acquires over 24% stake in BT Group, formerly known as British Telecom. Bharti's international arm will be shelling out nearly $4 billion for the stake at the current market price. Premiums paid to life insurance companies grow by 14% year-on-year in July, but private players see slower growth. However, HDFC Life and Max Life are outliers, see strong premium growth on the back of a favourable base. Resident doctors at state-run hospitals across India go on a strike protesting the rape and murder of a 31-year-old trainee doctor inside the premises of Kolkata's R.J. Carr Medical College. The police has already arrested a civic volunteer in connection with the crime. United States accelerates military deployment in the Middle East amidst reports of an attack by Iran. Within days, at least 25 Palestinians have been killed in Israeli attacks in the last 24 hours, even as thousands flee Khan Yunis in Gaza after Israel's evacuation orders. Paris says goodbye to the Olympics with a glittering closing ceremony. The baton is passed on to Los Angeles for 2028. US edges past China, ending on top of the medals tally. India's campaign ends with 6 medals as we await the court's verdict on Vinesh Phogat's appeal for a silver. But straight to the top story this evening. The Finance Ministry has reacted to the Hindenburg report, which accuses SEBI chief Madhavi Puri Butch of conflict of interest. Now, the Economic Affairs Secretary Ajay Seth, who's also a part-time member of the SEBI board, has said, and I quote, that SEBI has given a statement, the concerned person has given a statement, I have nothing further to add, end of quote. This follows a statement by SEBI last night saying that the regulator has adequate internal mechanisms to address issues related to the conflict of interest. The statement also said that the SEBI chief Madhavi Puri Butch had recused herself in matters involving potential conflict of interest, but without specifying which matters she recused herself from. On Saturday, US-based short seller Hindenburg alleged that the SEBI chief and her husband held stakes in offshore funds allegedly linked to the Adani Group. In a statement, the SEBI chief has said the investment was made when the couple were private citizens in 2015. Hindenburg also cited whistleblower documents to show that the SEBI chief owned 99% stake in a consulting firm called Agora Advisory. Opposition parties have called on the SEBI chief to step down, have demanded a joint parliamentary committee probe on the allegations. The leader of the opposition in the Lok Sabha, Rahul Gandhi, said, and I quote, the integrity of SEBI has been gravely compromised by the allegations against its chairperson. Union Law Minister Arjun Ram Meghwal and multiple BJP leaders have rubbished the new Adani Hindenburg report, terming it as an attempt to stall India's development. Take a look.
SEBI has given a statement. Chairperson has also made a statement. I have nothing further to add on that. As I said, that both of them have made the concerned person as well as the organization, regulator has made the statements, and there is nothing further to be added by the government.
ऐसे लोग हैं, कुछ ऐसे देश भी हो सकते हैं जो नहीं चाहते कि भारत इतनी तेज गति से तरक्की करे, और उसी का ही परिणाम है कि वो कहीं न कहीं भारत की तरक्की या भारत की जो हो रही है उन्नति, उसको रोकने के लिए इस तरह की कोई रिपोर्ट है।
हिंडनबर्ग में किसका इन्वेस्टमेंट है आपको मालूम है? जॉर्ज सोरोस का। ये महाशय कौन है जो भारत के खिलाफ नियमित प्रोपेगेंडा चलाते हैं? इंडिया डेमोक्रेसी नहीं है, इंडिया सेफ नहीं है, वगैरह वगैरह। और इस हद तक है कि मोदी के पूरे सत्ता को बदलना चाहिए, आह्वान किया था जनता से। देश मोदी के से नफरत करते हुए कांग्रेस पार्टी आज हिंदुस्तान से नफरत करने लगी है।
God forbid something were to go wrong and investors were to lose their money. Who is responsible? Is the Prime Minister of India responsible? Is Madhavi Buch responsible, or is Mr. Adani responsible? And finally, the Supreme Court has been looking at this matter. New allegations have emerged. Very serious, explosive allegations have emerged. Is the Supreme Court going to look at this matter suo motu again? Slowly becoming crystal clear why Prime Minister Modi is against a joint parliamentary committee looking into this matter.
While reactions coming in on the latest Hindenburg revelations. The market makers on Dalal-Street throwing their weight behind the SEBI chief, hitting out at Hindenburg. The Association of Mutual Funds in India has termed the allegations an attempt to undermine India's market progress, adding that the financial system remains secure. The Indian Venture Capital Association has also backed the SEBI chief. In a statement, the IVCA said allegations made by Hindenburg are unwarranted and reflect a lack of understanding of the Indian regulatory environment. Take a look.
From a investor perspective, because of this event, and I'm very vocal, very clear, I'm not mincing word, I think because of this event, I don't think investors need to worry at all. I don't think this is any event which will destabilize India or destabilize the market, or there is any risk to market because of this event.
Well, let's talk about the stocks in specific. Now, Adani Group stock started today's trading session with sharp cuts, but then we saw a recovery as the day progressed, ending off their lows but still closing in the red. Adani Enterprises down 1%, 0.5% lower on Adani Power. Adani Ports down 2%, 4% lower on Adani Total Gas. The capitalization of close to 20,000 crore rupees was cut today. The sensex and the nifty, meanwhile, also closed mildly lower as mid-caps clocked healthy gains. So the nifty flat, the sensex flat, Nifty Bank up, but just about, and the nifty mid-cap up by about 156 points. So really not much to speak of there as far as the markets are concerned. Now, the government is likely to announce a new base year for calculating GDP and inflation in the next 6 to 8 months. According to a government official, the government intends to keep a common base year for GDP as well as CPI data. Moreover, rural jobs data will be released on a quarterly basis from September and a monthly basis from January. So that certainly is good news there as far as data transparency is concerned. The GST Council is likely to meet in early September. According to sources, the Council is seeking approval from states for a meeting on either the 8th or the 9th of September. Issues including recent GST notices to Infosys, notices to foreign airlines and foreign shipping companies are likely to be on the agenda. The GST Council is also expected to take stock of the rate rationalization exercise and demand from several states seeking a withdrawal of GST on life and health insurance policies. No confirmation yet as far as the date is concerned, but these are likely agenda items. Bharti Global, the international arm of Bharti Enterprises, has agreed to buy 24.5% stake in British telecom major BT Group from Altus UK. The shares will be purchased through Bharti Global, owned Bharti Televentures. Rima standing by now to take us through the deal contours and the rationale behind this move. It's a big move by Sunil Mittal. Rima, take us through the implications.
Thanks so much for that. So this is a big global corporate development where Bharti Enterprises will be acquiring a 24.5% stake in British Telecom. Now, Bharti Enterprises is the owner of Bharti Telecom, which has stake in Bharti Airtel. And British Telecom, BT as we know it, is Britain's biggest broadband and mobile company. Now, what's interesting is that this is a very, very large transaction. British Telecom's market cap stands at 13.8 billion pounds, which means acquiring a near 25% stake involves an outlay of nearly $4 billion for Bharti Enterprises. That's close to about 32,000 crore rupees. Now, justifying this, Sunil Bharti Mittal, the chairperson of Bharti Enterprises, says this investment demonstrates the confidence that we have in BT and UK. BT has a strong portfolio of market-leading brands, high-quality assets, and an experienced management team with a compelling strategy mandated by the BT board to deliver value over the long term. Now, the way this transaction is structured is immediately Bharti Enterprises will be acquiring a 10% stake, and the balance 14.5% stake will be acquired post the regulatory clearances. Also, you know, life is coming for a full circle because British Telecom in 1997 had acquired a 21% stake in Bharti Airtel, which they held on till 2001, and now it's the reverse. It's the Indian entity which is going out there and acquiring Britain's marquee telecom company. Now, what will you watch? As I said, this is a very large transaction. Bharti Enterprises will be spending close to $4 billion to acquire this 24.5% stake. So will this in any way affect the investments that the promoter entity has to make in Bharti Airtel? Also remember, there is that expected Singtel block deal. So, that's something that the street will be watching out for. Directly, maybe no impact, on Bharti Airtel. The stock didn't react because there is a degree separation between Bharti Enterprises and Bharti Airtel. But a large commitment by Bharti Enterprises also will raise the question is that if tomorrow Bharti Airtel requires that investment, how will Bharti Enterprise be funding that?
Yes, a big global deal there. Reema, many thanks for joining us. The UP government has decided that road tax waiver policy for hybrid cars in the state will continue till October 2025. Sources say this comes after the state's chief secretary met representatives of auto majors like Hyundai, Tata Motors and Maruti to address their concerns. Senior government officials have maintained that there has been no significant impact on EV sales since the road tax waiver was implemented in June. The Delhi High Court has indicated that it will pass orders on pleas by SpiceJet's lessors seeking pending dues on Wednesday. The court has asked lessors if they're ready to take details of personal assets of SpiceJet promoters in case of further default. Remember, SpiceJet had offered to pay its dues in weekly installments till the 30th of September. We will head into a break, but up next, Keki Mistry on the Hindenburg report. We're back right after this. Now, the Hindenburg report accusing SEBI chief Madhabi Puri Butch of conflict of interest has sparked a controversy. The SEBI chief has denied charges. The Mutual Fund Industry and Venture Capital Association has rallied to her support. The Economic Affairs Secretary Ajay Sheth, who's also a part-time member on the SEBI board, has said, and I quote, that SEBI has given a statement, the concerned person has given a statement, I have nothing further to add, end of quote. Well, joining us now to take this conversation forward is veteran banker and former CEO at HDFC, Mr. Keki Mistry. Mr. Mistry, many thanks for joining us here on CNBC TV 18. I want to first understand from you what you see as the near-term impact and implications of these latest allegations made by Hindenburg on the back of accessing whistleblower documents. I understand that this is not a systemic issue at all. It is a very specific issue. But what do you think the implications are at this point in time, Mr. Mistry?
Well, honestly, in my opinion, I don't think there is any implication other than the fact that for a couple of days, the media will keep talking about it. But honestly, I think I've read a little bit of the report. According to me, it is based on a meaningless interpretation and correlation of completely unrelated events. The clarification issued by the SEBI chairperson and her husband clearly states that the couple invested in the offshore fund at a time when they were private individuals and had no connection whatsoever with SEBI. Also, they were living overseas. As a private individual, you are allowed to invest where you want, and it is neither feasible nor is it practical for you to go back and check who the other investors in the fund are. Also, as far as the allegation on encouragement to REITs is concerned, I think REITs is a wonderful product. It's a great investment opportunity for an average Indian with limited resources to take advantage of the move in the real estate market. As far as the Adani Group is concerned, I think they have been exonerated. The matter is, to my mind, over, and I think we should just leave it at that.
Those three separate issues that you spoke of, Mr. Mistry, with your reactions coming in. But let me understand from you, on the issue as far as recusal is concerned, and I'm going back to the statement issued last night by SEBI as well as the SEBI chief, saying that in matters pertaining to conflict of interest, the SEBI chief recused herself. Now, to end any possible speculation and to put this matter at rest, and give it quietus, do you believe that it would perhaps be appropriate to make clear what those matters were where there was a recusal so that it ends any speculation?
Well, if there was any matter which related to anything which directly involves the individual, then you go and recuse yourself. For example, if there is a loan being given to a company and in some form or the other, a director is connected with that company, that individual will recuse himself from the meeting. So you don't need to disclose the detailed, what transpired and what the particular matter was, so long as SEBI itself says that the chairperson recused herself from any matter where there was even a perceived conflict of interest.
Right. Mr. Mistry, as you pointed out that you believe that this is going to be a flutter for a couple of days and it will die down perhaps just as we saw in the case of the previous matter pertaining to the Adani Group, things will move forward from here. But the call for a JPC has now intensified. The opposition is seeking that the SEBI chief step down till that there is a JPC or there is an independent probe and so on and so forth. Do you think that this is going to cause discomfort and at least uncertainty, at least for the near term?
I mean, I can tell you the actual impact of something like this in the market. And in my view, the market has taken it very well. I don't think anyone in the market that I know of has taken this seriously as something which will disrupt the market or create any kind of uncertainty. I think the regulatory framework in India is extremely, extremely strong. Whether you look at RBI governing the banking system or NBFCs, or you look at SEBI governing the market, or you look at IRDA governing the insurance companies, I think the regulatory framework is extremely, extremely robust in India. I'm associated a little bit with some of these regulators in various matters, and I can tell you with complete confidence that it is extremely robust.
No, I agree with you. I think that this point about trying to make it a systemic issue is perhaps exaggerated and unwarranted at this point in time. Would you agree, sir?
I do. I would think so. I think that if you look at the matter, the issues are unconnected. There was an investment made in a fund. Everyone invests in funds. Anyone can invest in a fund. When you're investing in a fund, you do not know who the other investors are. And for that matter, why should you care? There could be 100 investors, 1,000 investors, 10,000 investors. How does it matter? You are only an investor in a fund. There was no transaction, to my mind, which happened after joining SEBI. Full disclosure was made to SEBI at the time of joining SEBI. So to my mind, there is nothing in this which warrants any kind of second thought or any kind of issue around it.
Let me also bring back that issue on REITs that you spoke of, because, it was actually at our event where the SEBI chief also very categorically stated that she believes that, REITs is a great product as far as a retail investor is concerned. And I want to go back to the point that you were making, that it gives an opportunity, forget the allegations, etc., but the REITs as a product, the rationale for ensuring that Indian retail investors get access to a product like that, Mr. Mistry, your final take on that?
I absolutely, totally agree with you. I mentioned in one of your programs only that REITs is a wonderful product. It's a great product. It's a product which needs to be developed. We are today at a fairly nascent stage in terms of the number of REITs in the country, but I have no doubt in my mind that in the passage of time, more and more entities will come out with REITs. After all, if you're sitting on a whole lot of commercial real estate and you've leased it out, it's the best way is to convert that into a REIT and let the retail investors participate in any benefit that is arising out of the REIT. If you look at countries like Singapore, for example, REIT is an extremely, extremely popular product in Singapore. I understand it's also popular in many of the Western countries, but I know in Singapore it is an extremely popular and well sought after product.
Specifically on REITs, since this is an issue that has now become part of the latest alleged expose of Hindenburg, do you believe that there could be nervousness, at least as far as foreign investors are concerned, on this specific product till this matter quietens down?
I don't think so. I really honestly don't think so. I mean, at the end of the day, what is a REIT? A REIT is an investment that has been made by individuals or institutions into a trust, and through that you own commercial real estate. The commercial real estate in most of these cases is rented out. The rental income comes to the REIT and then gets distributed to the investors. So that is the way the product works. So there is nothing untoward or nothing bad about the product. It's a very well thought of product. It's a product, as I said, which is very popular in the world. And I think Western investors are fully conversant with REITs. It might be a relatively, I repeat the word, relatively new in the Indian market. It's not new, it's been there for some years now, but relatively new. But if you look at other countries, you look at advanced countries, look at Western economies, it's an extremely popular product. So I don't see any investors getting nervous or investors not investing.
Yeah, so no implications as far as REITs are concerned, and no implications certainly with respect to investor confidence in the larger Indian equity market story, or of course the regulatory story. That's the point of view coming in there from veteran banker KK Mistry. Mr. Mistry, always a pleasure. Appreciate you joining us here on CNBC TV 18. Many thanks for your insights. We are going to take a break here on this edition of Business 360. The news will continue right after this. Stay tuned.